Oklahoma Sooner fans, welcome into our Week 1 Illinois State post-game reactions. And it's not going to be as glorious, at least on my half of the show. It's not going to be as glorious as I hoped, as much as I expected. Chad and Tierney are here. They're just getting everything situated over there. So once they're ready, they'll get themselves added and everything. So I want to hear from you guys. What are your first reactions to Oklahoma winning 35-3 against Illinois State? Want to know to start the season. That's a good note to start off on. But maybe just the how-tos and the whereabouts and the where they are. I want to hear your guys' reactions. So comment down below. If you're watching on X, welcome in. If you're watching on YouTube, of course, you can join in the comments. We want to hear from you guys, and we'll get to it. But Chad, Tierney, you guys were both there in person. First, let's just start off with the obvious one. What was the atmosphere like? Did it feel like things were good there with the atmosphere-wise? We're starting before the game started. Did it feel like things were going in the right direction there?
Oh, yeah. It was pretty loud. Energy was pretty high for sure. Are you able to hear us, by the way?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Awesome. Yeah, I thought the energy was really good. Sorry, we're trying to figure out a good place to film right here while we're in our car, but hopefully y'all can see us. I was impressed. I thought John Mateer running out as a captain really got the crowd excited. There was a lot of energy whenever they ran out. Whenever they ran out, the new Gerald McCoy intro video was really cool. Say that much. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the energy going in was really good. I will say in the third quarter, there was definitely a shift that is a little more dead, which kind of just matched the energy of the game as well.
Yeah, the whole third quarter was just kind of a disaster from Oklahoma's perspective. No points. No points at all. There was a turnover. And the turnover was kind of an ugly interception. It was. I felt like Deion Burks moved out. If you look back at that play too, that interception, it looked like Deion Burks should have sat down, and instead he shifted. Yeah. He drifted away from where John Mateer was going, and that's kind of what caused that. And it went through the hands. Still on John Mateer a little bit, obviously, but it did feel kind of just miscommunication between the two of them. And
you'll be happy to hear. I was listening to the radio, and they kind of were making that point about Deion Burke should have sat down. Apparently, when he ran off the field, the receiver coaches were kind of going at him. So I think it was a deal where it was more so his fault than a Mateer kind of just making a bad pass there.
Yeah, and I would definitely place that one a little bit on Deion, but it was definitely like split for sure, because you got to have the communication between the two of you. But all right, going into it, first drive, it was a 3-and-out. Illinois State gets the ball back. There was a chunk play or two, and I felt really concerned after the first drive on each side of the ball. Defense shut them down. And ultimately, here's where I come away from it. So Oklahoma only allowed 34 passing yards total. Ecstatic about that. Mm-hmm. All right. And I don't care what you want to say. That was great. Passing defense was great. I even thought the pass interference on Cortland Guillory, that was like the only downside from the whole defense that I really saw. And no turnovers. I would have expected a couple of turnovers here, but there wasn't anything. So only 34 passing yards total that you allowed up against Illinois State. And then 117 rushing yards. Again, a lot of those were chunk plays. That's the one thing that concerns me a little bit when you talk about Michigan coming to town next week. You go further, and we saw what Jackson Arnold did to Baylor, running the ball all over the place. That concerns me. Know that Texas likes the run game. Looking forward, that concerns me because there was chunk plays on the run game specifically that broke out, and so that concerns me a little bit.
No, I feel like, I definitely agree, because I was during the game I was like, it's not that the defense is playing poorly or anything. It's like I was disappointed that I guess there weren't any turnovers, because I was expecting at least one. And then also I said, I don't like the amount of about 10-yard runs that they were having. And it just, because especially with how good that we thought, the defensive line was going to be, I just didn't even think they would get many, let alone as many as they, or as one, let alone as many as they did. So that was just concerning because you're going to face like much bigger, much tougher, much stronger offensive lines next week and then going forward. So, I mean, if a gel thing, a nerves thing, I don't really know, but I mean, there were some gaping holes in the defensive line at times that were concerning for me. But even at the same time, like at the end of the day, they did their job. The 3 points that were given up were on that interception. So unless they had gotten the ball turned back over, they were likely going to score there anyway. So, I mean, they did what they needed to do. So
Go ahead.
3 points for sure. Yeah, I don't mean to cut you off. Sorry, but the 3 points for sure. You have to take those 3 points and just pretend like those weren't even there because that was all because of the interception. You don't have the interception down there inside the red zone. There's no 3 points on the board. The defense did well. Mm-hmm. They led them across the 50-yard line and shut them down after that.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, I'm not too worried about the defense. I think they're fine. The offense still is where you've got to find some sort of gelling in terms of getting a consistent run game. It's like another game where you're John Mateer was as advertised for me. He's very quick. He's even quicker in person, I'm sure, than what he looks like on TV. But his lateral, he's shifty as heck, and his presence on the field, you can see just from being out there alone. I mean, just from the stadium, he has a real control of the offense. He's directing alignment before the play. He's very vocal. You can tell he's very assertive when he's out there. He throws with confidence. The issue, like when you don't have a run game, you saw it earlier in the Texas game too. It's tough whenever you're not consistently getting chunk plays through the run because it just puts so much pressure on your pass game. And if there's a lot of, I thought there's a lot of good from the offense in terms of you found a receiver in Keontez Lewis who seems like he's better than what I heard or we heard even coming out of fall camp where he made a name for himself.
I've been hyping him up too because that's a guy that
I've heard you.
You haven't heard about Keontez Lewis, but so the thing is, you hear about Isaiah Satania, you hear about Giovanni Gibson coming in, and I was like, well, why is nobody talking about Keontez? Because I went back and was watching his highlights religiously, and not just highlights, but just overall game film where he's not even the key player. And I love his run blocking. That was the biggest thing for me. He blocks like a tight end. He'll pick up a guy and throw him on the ground type of blocking. And then just it's not necessarily anything about like his yardage or anything like that. He was playing at Arkansas Pine Bluff. Can't expect like great stats from the roster around him. But the fact that you watch him specifically, and even on plays he doesn't get the ball, he runs routes so smoothly and creates separation where he probably should have had more receiving yards at Arkansas Pine Bluff that he just didn't get the ball. But you go back and actually watch extensive film on Keontez Lewis. I think he has the type of breakout potential that you see from like, I'm not saying he'll live up to like Hollywood Brown type of yardage or anything, but like Hollywood Brown wasn't even on anybody's radar. And then all of a sudden he had that big game snapped. I think it was against Texas or something like that, wasn't it? And he had that one big game, and all of a sudden he was a key receiver.
Yeah,
that's the kind of season I could see Keontez Lewis possibly having.
Well, he reminds me, when you see him run, he reminds me more of a Marvin Mims, his build and his ability, his stride and everything. When he was at Southern, I think he said Arkansas Pine Bluff. It was Southern Illinois. Pine Bluff was
that was Giovanni. Yeah,
Giovanni. Yeah. I think what you meant. For anyone, Logan. You're right.
That.
Yeah, no, you're good. He looks the part too, and I think that's what's so encouraging whenever you're out there. And I know, Josh, you're coming to the Michigan game, you'll see it too. But last year we just didn't look like we had, and no offense to them, they were just young players, but like Division I high level receivers that look the part. Like he does. He has the size, and that catch he made, it was a great throw by Mateer, but an even better catch on that back shoulder. It was an awesome catch, and then to be able to continue to score whenever they're kind of zeroing in on you. That's one thing I'll say that I was really impressed by was the anticipation that Mateer had on a lot of the throws. There was one where it actually was a touchdown, and I thought it was about to be intercepted because he throws it over the middle, and there's a safety sitting right there, and then Lewis came and just caught it right in stride. He's very good at that, at anticipating the route, and that's kind of what you need, especially down in the red zone. So if we can get something going, the way they used Jay Knott was really weird to me because obviously they're nursing his injury, his shoulder, but you have him on kickoff return where you're not going to hide from injury on kickoff. if you catch the ball and return it, you're going to get full speed guys trying to hit you. And then you bring him in for one play in which he now has negative yards on the year. It was negative 3 yards. It's like, dude, I mean, and maybe
it wasn't even on him. Like, he was getting the ball and there was somebody.
Literally, he was getting tackled during the and maybe it is just a deal where it's like, look, we're not going to risk hurting him, and if he's going to get hurt, it's going to be against Michigan, and we're not going to show anybody anything until Michigan's here. I think the same with Danny Okoye. We didn't see much of him today on defense, but I think we'll see a lot of him next week. It's just they kind of have, I think, some weapons there they're not wanting to use yet, and I think Ott's probably the same.
Yeah, that was definitely weird to me. I was like, why are we putting the starting running back in when you would be putting your third string in? That was such odd timing. But first off, starting in that running back room, Torrey Blaylock, loved everything that I saw from him, lived up to every bit of the hype that I know I've said. I know I've heard like Jay from with Unfair Sports and Locked On. He's been saying, I think John Williams on Locked On has been saying it too. I've been hearing all kinds of clips from everybody about Torrey Blaylock, even his dad really hyping him up, which I expect from him. But he lived up to the hype 100%. And then Jaren Kanak, first drive, has a beautiful wide open. I mean, you saw his route running. That was impressive to me. He has improved tremendously because I saw small clips from camp that didn't really show like anything from him. It was like, he's not going to even be a tight end player. He's going to be that H-back every once in a while, which I would love to see him in. And then all of a sudden he had the big play where he kind of broke free and then he fumbles the ball. And actually Parker Thune just tweeted something from the press conference. He says, Ben Arbuckle said after Jaren Kanak fumbled the ball in the first quarter, he told him, "You're playing for your first offensive game ever. I hate to break it to you, but things happen." And then you see him turn around, and he led the first half in receiving yards with 84 receiving yards on 4 receptions in the first half alone. Ended up with 90 yards on 5 receptions.
Second leading receiver. How about that?
Yeah. So, I mean, I was ecstatic to see him because imagine the nightmare for linebackers that he's going to cause when you get further down in the season. I think there's something very special there. And so that was really good. And then John Mateer, my last big one to kind of shout out. John Mateer threw for 81% tonight.
Yeah,
he had the interception.
30 for 37 is crazy.
Yeah, he had the interception, but again, like we were mentioning, that was kind of just miscommunication with him and Dion, so it's kind of 50-50 who you want to blame it on. But 81% and almost 400 yards, 10-yard average. And so I was watching with my dad, who's a Nebraska fan, hasn't listened to a lick of Oklahoma offseason stuff. And he's the first time that he saw John Mateer almost get tackled in the backfield, slip back, get behind a blocker, and then all of a sudden find out that there's a running room, go and pick up the first down. He said, "Man, I thought I was watching Baker Mayfield." I was like, that's what everybody's been saying. And so the comparison that I see there is just if you go back and watch Baker Mayfield against just about anybody, especially that Ohio State game, it was step back behind a blocker and find some extra time rather than try to make something yourself. And that's what I saw from John Mateer a lot tonight. That's the comparison to Baker that people were seeing. It wasn't necessarily that he's going to put up Baker stats or that he's going to be that leader. But yeah, those 3 guys between Torrey Blaylock, Jaren Kanak, we mentioned Keontae Lewis as well. 119 yards, dude. That's something that I said too earlier on in the preseason. Watch out for one game where all of a sudden he breaks off for maybe 120-yard game. And it was first game of the season, which I wasn't expecting. But then, of course, John Mateer lived up to the hype and honestly, maybe and then some.
Which you just mentioned, funny enough, about, breaking Baker records. Well, he actually did break one tonight.
Yeah, he did.
So he broke the, most passing yards at the opening game? So,
initial start.
Initial start. Yeah, and debut, he got 392.
392.
And Baker's was 388.
Yep, and Baker played Akron. If anyone was curious on what they played, but he's got when I look at quarterbacks, things that I think make good quarterbacks are command of the offense, but also are you calm in the pocket and do you know how to set up blocks? And that is a skill. Tom Brady was very good at that. Although he was slow, he knew how to set up his linemen. But I'm saying that in listen, I'll take a shot at Tom Brady any chance I can. But I mean that literally. Like he was good at understanding how the pocket was developing and then how to slip into where his blockers were helped.
Especially ahead of Michigan week 2, you got to take extra digs.
Oh yeah, there. Absolutely. There is, and what I was most encouraged by is you didn't see him. You come out, everyone's excited for a great offensive drive to lead the game, and you have to punt, and you have that fumble. And how cool is it for Ben to go over to a player that he knows is probably frustrated and knows that he made a mistake in one of his first opportunities, and how the coach is gonna react? We get another shot, and Ben just says, "Dude, it happens. Like, get over, like, forget about it. Don't worry about it." And for that, I mean, the pressure or the weight it probably takes off your shoulder as a player, because we've all played for coaches where it feels like if you make a mistake, you're going to be benched, and it makes you clam up and play safe instead of aggressively. And for Ben to do that, for like our coach Arbuckle to do that for Jaron, I'm sure it was just a huge weight off his shoulders, and it lets you play with confidence and free. And it's funny because I know we're complaining about the offense, but it reminds me a little bit about 2023 with Dylan Gabriel and them, because they would have like 500 yards, and it would still be, but the run game, but we didn't do. And it's like, dude, I'll take 450 yards of offense every game. I don't really care how we do it. Now, granted, we're not going to play against a defense. Like, we're going to play one of the best in the country next week. So obviously we need to be better. But it is like I would rather be complaining while we still are 1-0, instead of instead of what Alabama had to do, it's facing today, what Texas had to, was 0-1.
I feel like it always happens every first game of the year.
Yeah.
Because I mean, especially when you're going to turn around and play someone like Michigan, you don't want to give them a lot of film. You don't want to give them a lot of your playbook. So you're going to be very basic. I mean, Brent Venables said in his post conference that they are very vanilla. He's like, I'll just be straight with you. And maybe we been a little bit better or scored more with our vanilla against a team? Yeah, maybe. But we still got the win. We made it out with seemingly not any injuries. And, you made it with some confidence going to next week. One thing that I liked personally on the offense was how many guys I saw catching the ball. I mean, you had Jacob Jordan, Jared Kanik, you had Huggins, you had Carson Kent, you had Dion, you had Satinga, I believe, caught one. You had Keontez Lewis. I mean,
even Xavier Robinson, Corey Blaylock.
Xavier Robinson, yes. And so like there were so many people that actually that you could go to.
Yeah.
And last year we didn't have that many players you could go to. So that was what was encouraging for me. But I mean, I agree with everything. Like Keontez Lewis, I don't think I was really expecting much because, again, like you said, there hasn't been a ton of talk about him as much. So I was very, very impressed with him. I was heartbroken for Kanik on the fumble, but he definitely made it up, and I was just so happy for him. And I think I said in our last pod, like, if there's one player, if I could pick one player that I'm cheering extensively for just to be successful this year, it's Jaron Kanik, just because of how he stuck with OU. And, in this type of environment, he didn't have to. He could have left. He could have gone somewhere else, and he chose to stay, and he wants to be here. So any kid that wants to stay at a team in this day and age is gonna have my respect, and I just want nothing but the best for him. So seeing him make some big plays, I was cheering so hard on that big run. I thought he was gonna maybe shake someone off and get a touchdown, but Dion ended up finishing it the next play. But I don't know. That was one thing that was encouraging for me, was seeing how many people stepped up.
Yeah, there was 9 different receivers, if anyone's curious. 9 different OU receivers caught a pass. Named all of them. And there was
I think you did. It was all of them except Xavier Robinson, which I threw out there to you. But you were going down the list. I think you had all of them.
That's nice.
Yeah. So I mean,
so tackles. It looks like Samuel Masigo led with 8, and then 3 solo and 1 sack. Not a lot of sacks, but they move the pocket a lot, so it's kind of hard to get sacks whenever you have a quick quarterback and then they're moving the pocket a ton.
Yeah, there was only 2 sacks. No turnovers was a disappointment to me. The chunk plays. But overall, defense I wasn't concerned about at all from this game. Wasn't concerned going into the game. Defense is going to do its thing. I trust that. The offense is where you just feel like I don't know whether to be upset or just let down. And I think I'm in that phase right now where I'm just going to be let down. Because here's the thing. So I know I saw a lot of people chill out. It's the first game. And like you said, they were vanilla. Guess what we heard last year against Temple, though, when they won 50-something to single digits? It was, we ran a vanilla offense. That's what concerns me about hearing that this year, is that.
And I think that's totally valid from OU fans.
Yeah.
Like
Go ahead.
I do get it. No, because I was thinking the same thing, and when I was seeing a lot of the posts, I was like, well, yeah. To be fair, we all were saying that last year around this same time, so I do understand. I think for me, I was just more underwhelmed.
Yeah.
There were times, and I hate saying it, at the game where I was bored.
There was
that third quarter specifically, but
yeah,
at the same time,
was,
like
it was frustrating in the third quarter. Like I wanted to throw something, and I was watching it outdoors, so I was tempted at times, but I didn't. I kept my cool.
Well, they're gonna have to start making some tough decisions with Javonte Barnes and with some other guys because they're gonna have to start. There's just for whatever reason, there's a difference whenever he's in, and I hope Blaylock is okay. He had to go to the locker room with his shoulder injury. But, so hopefully he can come back next week. But they're really going to have to start making tough decisions. I understand that the reason they like him is because he can pass block. But it's such a drive killer when he gets the ball and runs, and it's right into the back of, like, someone's ass, and then we get no yardage. It's just so frustrating. And then every other running back, for some reason, can get us 4 to 5 yards, and we can start sustaining a drive. So I don't know what it is about Javonte Barnes or whatever's going on, but they're going to have to decide whether or not he's going to continue to come in and just give us nothing whenever he touches the ball. And I don't he looks great in pads. He's the best looking player we might have on offense in terms of just when you see him in the backfield. And maybe it is just, and to be fair, our offensive line again is like a D+ right now. They're not very good. They're struggling to block guys that would not. I don't know why Eddie Pierre-Louis continues to not be able to get minutes. He starts the game, doesn't come back for Ryan Foje, who was switching back and forth from right and left tackle with Wee-Woo. And it's like, where we're having to continue to play true freshmen is shocking to me.
I don't think the offensive line was D+ bad. I would put them like maybe a C, right around the C point. It wasn't good, but if you actually go back and watch it, I'm not sure what it looked like, there in person, but
it looked very bad.
It really wasn't so bad. Like they run blocking seemed to be inconsistent, but not bad. Pass blocking seemed to actually give John Mateer a decent amount of time, and John Mateer was really good with the chemistry with the offensive line to get behind it. So on top of that, like you said, they had guys in that I'm telling you right now, I don't think Ryan Foje is going to be a regular season starter. That annoys me. Don't put him in then if he's not going to be a regular season starter. I want to see the regular season starters in there. I was surprised they didn't put Michael Hawkins Jr. in at halftime. I don't think you're going to lose the game if you put him in. I think he's just fine, and that was kind of shocking to me even. But I do want to let our listeners know real quick. Become a member on the channel today. You can start as low as $2.99 a month. Become a member of the channel over on YouTube. The link is in the description down below. If you become a member, obviously you're supporting the channel, helping us keep on growing, doing more things. And then starting tomorrow, because we're finally into game week after week 1. So after each game day, I know I will. And of course, if Chad and Tierney want to join in as well, on Sundays, we're going to try to release a film breakdown, a Sunday film room, and break down either key plays, either positive plays, or even diving in and taking a look at some plays that we can learn negatives, things to focus on, seeing if they improve in the future as well. So we're gonna take a few plays, so members will be able to see all of that, and then of course we'll try to show some glimpses for those of you who aren't members, so you can see what it's all about as well. But that's just an extra thing that we want to do for our members. And then of course join us next Thursday live before the Michigan game. All three of us will be at the Woodworks Distilling Company down in Oklahoma City. We have a social media post out. I didn't put it on our YouTube page, but we'll get that out as well. Make sure to join us next Thursday at the Woodworks Distilling at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for our live show there. You can come out and join us, grab a drink, enjoy yourself, and come and say hello to us as well. So just a quick reminder to everybody. And of course, if you're not watching on YouTube, jump over to YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. So I want to jump back to the game and one thing that stands out to me. So we're talking a lot about offense. The offense was the only thing that we were concerned about. Like I said, I don't know if I can say upset about, but concerned.
Yeah, I just got to see. Yeah,
I think that there was good things that we saw from it that we didn't see last year. For example, Deion Burks looked amazing. He ran his routes really well. That huge catch where it should have been pass interference. If you go back and watch that, defender didn't turn around, was grabbing him. Huge catch, and it was a catch on the sideline, which was incredible. And you saw that, and then we talked about Keontae Lewis. I expect one of the Giovanni Gibson. I expect him to possibly be ready next week, if not by Auburn. So we see that. I thought everybody else, Jaron Kanik felt like he looked really good. We were already talking about this with Isaiah Satania looked better than I even expected out of him. And I had pretty high expectations, fairly high expectations out of him. So there was a lot of really good pieces that I saw from individuals on the offense. It was just, it didn't feel like you got it. But here's the reason why I think you didn't get it all the time. Illinois State's punter, man, that he deserves a trophy because he was putting that ball every single time inside the 5-yard line. I mean, the dude was phenomenal. So that was a big part of it. When you look at overall offense and putting up the overall offense that Oklahoma put up, you can't be too upset with over 500, or I guess not even over 500, close to 500 yards total offense.
Right.
That I thought it was notched over 500, but it was right at 495. So you got to be pretty content with that. And then again, I don't know. I mean, maybe Illinois State is better than we're giving them credit for, but I am still kind of let down a little bit. I would have expected like 50 points on the board.
They're definitely better than I mean, we should have scored more. The issue I have with not playing, like I think what you're going to see next week is what you saw the entire day today. I don't know. The reason why is and we really stressed this when we interviewed Dimitri's, football is about reps. Like you have to get game reps if you're going to play in games. And the fact that we saw the line that we did, it's complete. I think that's why Mateer was in there so long. We were struggling to get any sort of flow and timing, especially with run games when you're pulling or when you're zoning. The blocking, you have to have a feel for the guys beside you, and to continually see them not being able to get a push or to not, if they didn't have a running back that could cut back on lanes that weren't even designed to be in the play. Like that's why Javonte Barnes struggles so much, because he doesn't have the vision to do that. It seems, and I could be wrong. That is where I get frustrated, because it's a continuance of, it looks like we don't have 5 guys where we can say, hey, this is what, and maybe Beatonbow does that, but then you look back at his best offensive lines and it was 2 years in a row and they had one different guy in the 2 years that they were there. And so that's where I'm needing to see, I want to see more next week. But I know we all do. I mean, all of us want the offense to be more consistent. But like you're saying, I'm starting to sound like one of the guys that was upset whenever Gabriel would throw for 350. But
yeah, you do a little bit.
That's fine. It's just I need to see, because I think a national championship is in the cards with the defense we have. I truly think it's better, like especially after watching a lot of what I saw today. I don't know if I see one that even Clemson, I don't know if I would say is better than what ours is is going to be. But I'm very let down with what I saw from the offensive line, and I'm not a Debbie Downer ever. I'm usually called a sunshine bumper on Twitter, but I'm very encouraged by Mateer. I think he's as good as any quarterback in the country. I think when I saw him throw on the run, he's extremely athletic. He's very accurate when he throws. He has a really, really strong arm, which I think a lot of people don't appreciate as much as they should. It's not just that he's quick; it's that he has a really strong arm.
Do you want me to fire you up a little bit?
Receivers that can play. But you cut out. Sorry about that.
No, do you want me to fire you up a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I'm not fired up enough.
So I mean, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen Arch Manning last year in his 2 starts against lower level teams put up the numbers that John Mateer did. So
dude, the Arch Manning stuff. And I'm not saying I'm right about the O-line. I'm not saying it's it's just what and I'm a little jaded maybe because I want them to be. And they might be. You might be totally right, and you might be right too. I don't know. Maybe it's just one thing where I'm just
you're also experiencing like just flashbacks from last year. So I think we're just going. I think a lot of us are just going immediately into, oh no, like I've seen this movie before, if that makes sense. And I don't think I maybe am a sunshine bumper, and that's fine. I don't think it is going to be like that for the full year. I do think we are just more talented than we were last year, and then obviously we're more experienced. So I think I don't see it being like it was, but again, maybe that's just wishful thinking.
Hey, Josh, on the broadcast, did they show any of who were they talking about in terms of like our defensive line? Were they talking about getting pushed or anything, or was it just kind of just solid and they just really didn't bring it up much? I was curious on how they were talking about the D line.
Yeah, I mean, they really didn't bring them up much. I know towards the beginning, I felt like they brought it up quite a bit, with how deep the defensive line was. Like T brought up earlier, as deep as that defensive line is, and I think they brought it up a couple times in the broadcast, that I was very surprised to see the chunk plays that were allowed. But the chunk plays usually weren't even really entirely the defensive front. It was more that maybe Kobe or Kip weren't plugging the holes that they should have been plugging. And I will say, Illinois State did seem like they faked a lot with play action. I think they faked directions quite a bit on their counters really well. But that still shouldn't fake an Oklahoma defense.
Oh, I just wanted to bring up too, Michigan, one of their linebackers, I don't know if you saw it, their star linebacker it was a horrible call looking at it, but he just got kicked out. He just got a targeting call. He's going to miss the first half of next week's game. Starting left linebacker, what's his name? It is Michigan linebacker Jayshon Barham. He's going to miss the first half of next week unless they win their appeal. It was a terrible call. He should win his appeal, but I hope he doesn't because it means their defense is a little bit not as good, which is fine with me. People are so weird about that. They're like, I want you at full. No, come with a sprained ankle. I'll just take the dub, and I'll be. Tom Brady gets credit for all of his, so I'm not. It's fine. I'm done with all the.
Oh my!
I want to win, and I don't care how you come.
He's a Slytherin.
I want a dub by my name, and you can complain about it in 10 years from now.
Yeah. I mean,
by the way, for everybody coming to the stadium, it is Stripe the Stadium.
Oh yeah.
Week 2, Stripe the Stadium. Even numbers, white. Odd numbers in the student section, crimson. So
that's section numbers.
Text that to me so that way I can remember that. So I'll probably forget.
I interrupted you there, Josh. Sorry, man.
No, you're good. You're good. I was just gonna say right now it is 34-17 Michigan against New Mexico, which to me feels
17 points.
To me feels better than what my dad was kind of hard on me because he's sitting here, he was upset. So again, he's a Nebraska fan. He was upset that Nebraska beat Cincinnati by 3 points. I said Cincinnati's not a walk all over team though, and Nebraska is not really a playoff team or anything. So you have to be content with that as a Nebraska fan, and knowing that Cincinnati may win the Big 12. And he was being hard on me because I was saying I expect Oklahoma to score 50 points. And he was like, "Well, you can't expect that. That's too high of an expectation." I don't see how that's too high of an expectation. When's the last time that Oklahoma had? I don't think they struggled today. Okay, I don't want to say that they struggled against Illinois State because there was no sign of struggle any point. It was just some miscues that they really defeated themselves in 3 and outs and stuff. So when was the last time that Oklahoma scored as low as 35 against an FCS opponent? I really can't think in my head that a time that Oklahoma, again, struggled is not the right word, but struggled against an FCS opponent. So just
I can't tell you either. That's a good question.
It should have been a domination. When's the last time that Oklahoma played Arkansas State or who's some other FCS opponents that they've faced here recently? Even Temple, they scored more than 50. That's an FBS opponent. Kent State is another one that they score more than 40 on. I'm just thinking of some smaller teams that Oklahoma plays against. Maine, they scored a lot against Maine last year with an atrocious offense. I'm just not content with the performance. That's how I would put it. Not upset, not anything more than just not content.
I think it's a good way to put it. And I think you're right. It's weird because it's like I'm not as, for whatever reason, you're right. We should have scored more, but I'm not as stressed or worried about the offense as I was last year. Because I do see, like, when you're out there, I think you can see a lot of there is a certain confidence and control that I think the offense is playing with right now that may, for whatever reason, oddly isn't coming across in points. But there is a better. It's when you're out there and you see him playing. Maybe it's just Mateer and how he understands the offense so well, and you see him kind of orchestrating it. And he does have like an air about him that is very assertive, and I like that. And maybe I'm just relying on that kind of playing out more. And my dad always says that you take the biggest jump between week 1 and week 2 because you finally have some film and you've been in a game together, and you can kind of say, hey, yeah, we tried this in the game, it didn't work, let's do X, Y, and Z instead. And I think next week what we're going to see a lot more of is obviously Jay not in them. But I think what is encouraging is OU's offenses have always been great when we've had good, like what I call like rail shot tight end H-backs. Mark Andrews was one, obviously, back when we had Braden Willis when he was here with Dylan and them. But we haven't had that for a while. And to have a guy like Kanik who, when he got the ball, he was good, man. Like, he ran well with it. Like you were saying, he ran really well. And I know a couple people have commented about it. He is a guy that I think is actually going to be someone who OU is really going to be happy it stayed and kept on the team, and even though they had to move in positions. One person I was super impressed by was our kicker. It was only in warm-ups you saw him, but the dude has an absolute cannon for a leg. Dude, he was at the 40 and making them consistently, and they were hitting the middle of the net. It was insane. But that's just for those that haven't seen it. I was hoping maybe they would let him kick a field, like something short, like, hey, slip here, don't hurt yourself. We need a kick, at least one. Yeah,
we didn't see him at all the entire game. We didn't see him. So
no, you mentioned Kanik obviously a tight end. I on the walk on the long trek that we had back to our car, I looked at Travis, like we had like 3 different tight ends actually catch a ball today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Carson.
When's the last time we had 3 tight ends play?
And Jaron Kanik. Yeah, I love that. So I think from the post that we put out, let me refresh this, make sure that there's not any new. So here's some of the responses I got, and I think I'm pretty sure it's pretty much right in line with what we feel. So the reason why Oklahoma fans are going to be upset about this is because we have high expectations for a very good reason. It's a blue blood program. We expect to win championships, and this was not a championship-looking team out there overall. Again, maybe it was vanilla on purpose. Maybe it was. I just don't trust that. So Kay Sanders said, far from happy with the run game on both sides. O-line not getting a push, and the linebacker nowhere to be found. Wasn't expecting our D-line to have any holes. Yeah, that's kind of what we touched on already. Brandon says, not sure really. Again, very similar to what we were talking about. Yeah. He says defense was bad stopping the run. Offense was bad running the ball. Everything looked solid, but those are 2 must-haves in the SEC. Very true. And to that point, Torrey Blaylock was the lead rusher. Looked good. Okay, he looked good when he had the ball. He had over 5 yards per carry. That's great. I love to see that, and a touchdown. But he was the lead rusher with only 44 rushing yards against Illinois State. That's concerning. Because again, like Brandon said, that's the 2 must-haves in the SEC is run defense, run offense. You've got to have that. Durag Dickey said it's. Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead before.
I was saying like and it goes back to when like Barnes is out there. Whenever it's like he doesn't have the speed to catch the edge whenever he has to bounce it. And I don't know if it's his true freshman year he did like but then after that injury, I still don't know if he's got it back. And I don't want to just bash on him. I mean, he does good things in terms of in other areas, but I just worry that like we have this that DeMarco has this affinity to put him in, and I'm hoping something can work out there because if he continues to kind of put us behind the 8 ball when he tries to bounce it out and gets, I mean, he's struggling to outrun defensive ends from Southern Illinois or from Illinois State, and it's just like you shouldn't be doing that if you think you're going to go to Texas with Colin Simmons. Or you're going to go next week to Michigan, or you ever get to the playoff and you're playing to Clemson. Like you got to be able to outrun those guys. They're fast, but they're not running backs. And when we're struggling to do that against like a team like this, like you're saying, there is a cause for concern.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on with some of the comments that we got. Let's see. Durag Dickey said extremely happy. So he's on the other side of things. He said it seemed like we were running a very conservative offense, so we don't give away the full thing, which is understandable considering we faced Michigan. And I was very happy with the passing game. Again, if that's true, and we can trust that, I agree because we saw good things, right? Again, if we look at the passing yards and see almost 400 yards passing, that's a good indication compared to last year where how many games did we have 400 yards passing last year? 300 yards. Wow.
Well, I tweeted out earlier, Mateer's the first 300-yard passer since Jackson Arnold in the Arizona game. Yeah. The bowl game.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
It's crazy.
if this was just us trying to take it as easy as possible, sure. And to your Javonte Barnes point, most likely we'll see Jaden Ott in most of the season. That's the hope.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry too much about that. And I don't know. Torrey Blaylock might have played himself into some playtime with some of the moves he was making tonight.
What about him or Xavier?
Yeah, Xavier was out there a little bit. He didn't really get a whole lot of good looks.
Did you hear anything about the injury for Blaylock? I know his shoulder, and then he had to go to the locker room. We couldn't hear anything on terms.
They didn't mention anything. I don't even think they mentioned him going to the locker room on the broadcast. Okay. But I will actually try to get some info on that right now, though, if I can.
I know that. I think Brandon Drum or someone on the sideline said they took him to the tent and then saw him. Arbuckle just said, "I'm not worried about Jaden Ott. He's going to be a big part of this offense. He's a smart kid. He works hard. He'll be ready." So I think you're right. It's
Yeah, it didn't look too bad. Like when he got shaken up, he came off to the sidelines and he looked fine. And so I'm hoping that that's the case. Just because I think Torrey Blaylock, I've just heard too many things. I've seen too many things. Now I've seen it on the field where he just plays with a drive. It wasn't necessarily that he had some kind of big break-off play that made you think that he's going to be a star. It's the way that he finished each run. Every time he touched the ball, he ran. So like Isaiah Pacheco, when you see him run, he looks like he's angry running the ball for the Kansas City Chiefs. That's kind of what I got. Not the same style, but that's kind of what I got from Torrey Blaylock. Not necessarily anger, but almost like he had a chip on his shoulder and he shouldn't, because he's a true freshman and he got some play time. So I loved what I saw from him, honestly.
One thing I liked about him, especially like on his touchdown, even and this is where I struggle with Barnes, is it seems like upon contact Barnes is going down, and it seems like our other like an X and Torrey, they keep their feet moving and they can beat some people or shake people off. And on Torrey's touchdown, you just see his legs, like he's in like the midst of guys and you're just seeing his legs keep moving, and then he like works his way into the end zone. And I don't know, I agree though. I was really impressed with him. It seemed like he had, both the power and the shiftiness. And Xavier, he didn't have as many like I guess as big runs as Torrey, but like he was still getting like 4-yard chunks. So again, to me, it was disappointing when it was 3rd and 2, Barnes doesn't get it. Then it's 4th and 1, and I still don't even know if he got it. They said he did, but like that shouldn't happen against Illinois State. So that was something that I was disappointed in too. And again, another player you want to see do well because he's stayed at Oklahoma, been in Oklahoma, but I do think there will be decisions that have to be made. And we mentioned Ott, and until I see him out there, I'm just going to assume he's not going to be. Does that make sense? It's because of last year. Until I see somebody suit up and make plays
the PTSD that's going to carry over. It's going to carry over throughout the entirety of the season.
Venables did say on the offensive line part that we feel solid. He feels pretty solid. It feels they played pretty solid. We didn't have everyone available. We feel like we're in a really good place in the interior.
Yeah, and I see a lot of people kind of. To me, it feels like everyone's overreacting on the offensive line.
Yeah, and I'm probably one of them, to be fair.
100%. Yeah, but that's okay. Yeah. No, I really do feel okay. I'm not feeling like it's like a Creed Humphrey and bring back like like not back in those days or anything, but like I feel confident that we're going to be okay compared to last year. We're fine, and John Mateer's got enough awareness about him that I have confidence in him too.
I was going to say, to your point, like you brought up earlier, your quarterback can make your offensive line a lot better, just knowing how to move in the pocket instead of, and what he's so good at too, and I know a lot of people will appreciate this, is you notice when he's getting pressured, there's not a panic. We were talking to T, we were talking earlier, going back to the Texas game, Arch really, those first 3.5 quarters, I would say, was, you could tell stress, he was aiming the ball, he was seeing the rush, and you see that a lot in those crossing patterns, especially when they run mesh concepts, or you have guys running within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage on the crossing routes. And I just know this from experience, is like when you are seeing those, when you are not ready, or you see the rush and you're not anticipating the throw, when you see him open, you try to just hammer it. And you saw him whenever he had a guy wide open. I can't remember who it was. it was oh gosh, maybe it was Wingo, one of them, but he just throws it behind him on a crossing route. I mean, he would have been a first down, maybe a touchdown if he just throws a simple little, if he throws it in front of him, and it's just he sees it, he panics, he throws it.
There was that, and then there was also one before that, I believe, where he threw it and he was all alone. He didn't even have to be throwing on the run. He could have sat down, delivered a pass, and he just chucked it at the ground. Right? I mean, wide open receiver too.
Yeah.
It definitely. When you compare that, I saw in the comments LSU one, so I was trying to look that up. That is big for Oklahoma.
Currently.
It would probably help if I wasn't looking at Big Ten teams. I was watching the
There's 12 minutes left in the fourth.
Just a heads up here, my computer may die in a second. I think it's on. So it's 10%.
Not final. Let's jump down to the comments. I think we've pretty much covered everything.
Okay. If we drop off, my computer just died. I'll try to hop back on a different one.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. JP says people are tripping, bro. JP, you need to shut up. You're a sunshine pumper. Okay. No. Yeah. People are gonna freak out because, like we mentioned, there is PTSD that's gonna carry out throughout the season, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. And somebody on our post on Twitter said, like, it was okay. I prefer to crush my enemies. Fair. Yeah. I feel like that's fair. Like, it was okay. I just wish we would have, crushed them.
It's hard to tell week one and against Illinois State.
Right.
It's like a nice medium start to the season. It's like, it's not bad. Like you're saying, it's not bad, but it's not like you're sitting there going, oh, goodness, we found. But, yeah.
Let's see. Sooner Mao 5 says Keontae was a great portal pickup. Yes. And like I said, he was a great portal pickup that I'm really glad went under the radar all off season because I really think
to your credit, you called him out. You were pointing him out early.
Yeah, I mean, I see too much from him, and I know it's at a lower level. I get that, but there's certain things that you can see within a player specifically that just it doesn't matter who you're playing against. It's going to translate no matter where you're at, and he's one of those guys that I saw that he might not amount to anything in the long run for Oklahoma, but what I saw tonight again was he had some really good catches and some contested catches. I'm excited for him. I hope that he keeps on going down that road and stays healthy. Let's see. Modern Day Caveman says the most encouraging thing for me was that BV admitted at post-game interview that a majority of the play calling was vanilla. Again, PTSD. I'm not going to trust that until I see it. Show it to me against Michigan. Hang 40 on Michigan, and I'm going to feel all right. Yeah, we were definitely calling vanilla against Illinois State. But yeah, I just don't know. And Modern Day Caveman also said, regardless of what the score was, BV should have put Michael Hawkins and other backups. I thought at halftime, 21-0 at the time. I'm okay putting Hawkins in right there. I really don't. I mean, your defense isn't letting up any points. The only points that they let up again was the 3 points that don't really count against the defense. So. Right. I think. And
I thought definitely too when we scored, quickly into the fourth because we should have scored in the third. I thought we were going to see Hawkins after that, but
yeah, I was really shocked you didn't see him at all.
4 games for a red shirt. Sorry.
Oh, probably.
Because that way, because even if Mateer comes back, you'd save this whole year of eligibility for him.
But does he need it with, I don't know. Yeah, you might be right though. You might be right.
I don't know.
Let's see. The one ID EST. He says Mateer broke the record for most passing yards by an OU transfer as well. So took that record from Jalen Hurts. So I didn't see that one. So that's pretty cool too. Again, I was very happy with how John Mateer performed overall. Again, the interception was one that you've got to have better communication between the two. And I'll put that 50-50 on him and Burks, but I was extremely happy with what I saw.
I was just going to say, I mean, it may bring you some solace. Listen to the radio podcast. Gabe was very adamant that Dion came and the receiver. I mean, for what Gabe said, it was a clear Dion mess up. He was supposed to sit there. He kept going across, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if however it happened, it was still an interception. But if that helps at all, I mean.
What does Gabe know about a quarterback and a wide receiver? He's an offensive line. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. He was because Plank said, he goes, we just had the one mistake, and Gabe said mistake, and Plank said the interception, and Gabe goes, Gabe said, Plank, you're right next to me whenever you saw Emmett Jones yelling at the yelling at Dion, and then Arbuckle, and then we're talking that we're supposed to sit down, and he was saying like, "Oh, that's on me, my bad," and John apparently was like, "Dude, we're good. We're something." Like he does. He was like, "It's on me too," or something. So.
Yeah, and I think even Dion too, if I remember right, I think on that play he even jumped up and was patting his chest, like he knew, like crap, like I saw that as soon as I made the wrong move, I saw it, and even on top of that, it still went through his hands. It would have been a great snag if he could have caught it, but at least bat it down to the ground. But it went straight through his hands. On that too.
A good catch by the safety though. Got to give him credit.
Side note,
yeah,
I just want to know because again, we don't get a lot of replays sometimes in the stadium. On Isaiah Satagna's run that got called back. Was there a block in the back? Like, was it pretty bad?
No. I'm biased. I'm biased, but no. It was a shoulder to shoulder. That irritated me. Yeah, I was so frustrated.
I felt for him. I was like, can you imagine running all that way?
Yeah,
But also, like, let's talk about those wheels. I mean, that was a different gear.
That dude can run.
I will give it to the refs. In real time, it might have looked like a block in the back because of the angle, but it was a shoulder to shoulder bump, and it was not blocking the back.
More sick because that was a fantastic run for him.
I'm biased, and I will offer that up. So somebody who's unbiased, Texas fan, tell us in the comments, because I don't know. You can't tell me that was. I rewound it because I was so irritated. I was like, "What?" My dad's like, "I don't know. Did he hit him in the back?" And we rewound it, and he's like, "That was shoulder to shoulder." And he kind of hits the back of his shoulder, but it was he like ran into it. Basically, it was not a block at all. I don't.
It's
even think
like
he meant to make contact.
Not what normally is called a block in the back. It's
no,
one of those things that happen.
Should not have been called. I will say this too. I didn't see anything in the Oklahoma game, but just college football as a whole. I'm sick and tired of the excuse that there's holding on every play, so you can't call holding, blah, blah, blah. No, you call it on every single play and get them to stop doing it. Do it until they realize that they have to basically shove, and that's the only thing I can do. I don't care what the excuse is. There's no excuse. Throw a penalty flag every single play if there's holding on every play. I didn't see it in the Oklahoma game, but that was something that I just got to get off my chest. So let's see here. Modern Day Caveman agrees with you, Chad. O-line D+. I will say I will pull back a rebuttal. Maybe that'll be some of the film room tomorrow. So become a member if you want to watch the entire film room.
Josh. I'm more on a C note.
Yeah, let me see if I can find some good tape to roll it back, and we'll do some film room on that. So if you're not a member, become a member today for as low as $2.99 a month. We're going to run it for all the members. So if you want to sign up for the highest tier and pay $9.99 a month, you're supporting the channel even more, and we appreciate that. But even if you're at the $2.99 a month, if you get a coffee in the morning, even at the gas station, it costs you more than that anymore. So you can afford that. We'll do a breakdown on the Sunday film room session. I'll try to find at least one offensive line to kind of break down some good and bad maybe for that we saw from the offensive line. Rena says, think we got the wind taken out of our sails in the first 3 offensive series. I think we feel different. Yeah. I think if you didn't start off 3 and out, this probably is a totally different score that we're sitting here feeling like a little bit more optimistic than we are right now. I think the score is the only thing kind of keeping us down. The score and rushing yards, maybe.
Right.
But
no, I agree with you. Yeah.
I don't think the game was as bad as our mental reaction is to it. But again, PTSD from last year. Let's see here. Let's jump to Clement real quick. He says offense C, defense A. It was clear that we have a vanilla offense game plan. The offensive line have to open up holes against a stout Michigan D line next week. Torrey Blaylock, in my opinion, is running back 2. I agree with that, honestly. To an extent, I mean, maybe running back 2.
I'm gonna give defense actually like an A- B+ because they didn't have a turnover. I was expecting.
I
would agree with you.
I'm gonna pick on them. If I'm gonna pick on them.
Yeah, I agree with you. I say,
and plus the chunk plays, the amount of them.
In special teams, from what we saw from the special teams, I'd say B+. Like there wasn't anything spectacular, but again, that Satania big return should have been better. And even the other returns were like he made something out of nothing, and I was happy with it. So B+, like nothing.
Yeah.
You didn't score a touchdown for an A+, and you got called back with the block in the back, so I can't give you an A-. So that's where I'll stand there. But yeah, defense I'd probably defense I would probably give a B+ because of the chunk plays and no turnover. So that's where I stand. What would you give the defense, Chad? I don't think I've heard your take on the defense.
I thought it was fair. An A, yeah, A minus. I would have liked a turnover too. I thought they did well tackling in the open field. That's where I was. Busted plays happen, especially whenever you're subbing in as many guys. I think some of the players we saw won't get as much time whenever we're really in crunch mode. I think you're going to see a lot more Kip Lewis and Kobe McKenzie. I thought that Owen Heineke played well, and Omasigo also played well, but I think you're not going to get as much turnover on the back end as we saw tonight. They're very good I thought they tackled in the open field really well. They didn't have really any major penalty issues. They had a couple false starts, which, like wide receivers, I still don't understand how you false start. You just watch the ball. Like, you literally don't move until the ball does. And I don't get why they were false starting. But I thought they did well. Really just in these first games, you're just worried about tackling and alignment. Are you getting lined up? I didn't see them panicking really at all. And again, I know it's FCS, but it's not like that Winker's right. Running back's good. Like, he could play at a Division I school next year if he wanted to, and probably start for a lot of them. Like, he's a good running back.
He was.
Yeah, which I had pulled up I had talked about some of his stats on our live on Monday. I've since forgotten them, and I don't have my paper on me. But when I was reading them, I'm like, those are high numbers. Like, those are. Yeah, I don't care who you're playing. Like, that's good. And,
we shut Rittenhouse
just heard his
down.
Name time and time again.
Yeah, we shut Rittenhouse down, who is also a very good FCS quarterback. I'm not saying he's good compared to John Mateer or anything, but good FCS, because that was another one that you read the stats off for was for Rittenhouse. And yeah, I mean, he is a good FCS quarterback. And so I'm happy with that. Defense was pretty solid. I'm not taking anything negative away other than the chunk plays. If you cut those chunk plays out, this was an A+ defense for sure. But
I'd still give him an A because they didn't have a turnover.
I like it. Yeah, I like it.
Listen to this little stat real quick. This is funny. Hold on. Similar game from 2015 to OU. This is by George Stoya. In 2015, the game that Baker set the initial record on, OU ran for 100 yards in 2015, just like OU today against Illinois State. OU won 41-3. We won 35-3 today. That's crazy.
And who was that against again?
Akron.
Yeah. So where do you put Akron compared to? I think I was actually at that game. Now that I think about it. But yeah, where do you put?
To be honest,
where do you put Akron compared to Illinois State? I think that's the comparison. Akron on average against Illinois State this year, pretty even, I would say, right?
Pretty even, yeah, pretty even.
So maybe we are overreacting. I'll admit that we might be, but I think I would much rather come on here and be harsh about the team, like you said, Chad. Man, you suck and you're 1-0. So I'd rather you suck and be 1-0. You know what? I would rather win every game for the rest of my life by 1 point than to win 9 games every season for the rest of my life. But the 9 games that we won were by 50. I would rather that. I would love to be critical about our wins, and that's a good place to be at right now. But I will pull this one up real quick because Dalpoas, I'm not really sure how to pronounce that one or how we should say it, but it says looked like a block in the back to me, and even followed it up with I didn't replay it though, so you might be right. Yeah, I replayed it like 3 times, and I just. I don't think it was a block in the back, but again, I'm biased and I didn't want it to be a block in the back. So I will admit that I probably had some goggles on that I just can't take off. They're glued into the back part of my eyeballs. So
I feel like it's something that I'm going to go back tomorrow and pull up the film and be like, let me see.
Looks like LSU's going to win this game, by the way.
Yeah, to me, it just felt like shoulder to shoulder contact from the back, but it was shoulder to shoulder contact that shouldn't have been called. And again, my goggles might have blurred that up a little bit. D. Farrell says a lot of our big plays on offense came mostly in the middle of the field. Besides Blaylock in his running game is going to be sustainable versus defense. Or he says besides Blaylock, is this run game going to be sustainable against SEC defenses? No, this run game will not be. I will flat out say no. This run game is going to get 30 yards a game. If I'm being honest.
Yeah. The run game isn't. What is sustainable is the way they attack the middle of the field. They're very good at that. And when you go back to 2017 offenses, what Baker did really well was they owned the middle of the field from about 11 to 16 yards. And Mateer does that also. He's very good at anticipating the windows and throwing to them. So that'll last. Like you're saying, the run game we saw tonight is going to be a big problem if that's not fixed.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, if it's what it was tonight, no. But I do have faith that it's going to get better because, for one, you didn't have Jaden Nott in there. Two, you barely touched Xavier Robinson. Really, I mean, and to your point too, Chad. I don't know what it is about having a certain running back there. Last season, though, Javonte Barnes was better than I think people wanted to give him credit for, because again, the offensive line. And I felt like tonight, for some reason, the offensive line looked worse when he got the ball. I will say that. It looked like they gave up. Like Michael Fasusi, like just totally whiffed on a block on one where he got swallowed up in the backfield.
Yep.
You know, that was one example. That was one example. So to your point, Javonte Barnes can hit the edge. Like, look at back. I know it was Maine, but look back at that Maine game. The dude was on fire that game. Again, I know it was Maine, but he hit the edge and he was gone a lot, and he was shifty and fast making direction changes and stuff. But he's maybe not as good as what Jaden Nott will be, to what I expect Jaden Nott to be. And I might put Torrey Blaylock below him right now, above him right now.
Yeah, I think next week you're going to see, if Blaylock's healthy, you're going to see Ott, then Blaylock, then Xavier. I would assume. You're right. Look, they're gonna, like you were talking, the guys about, is it going to work in the SEC? It won't work next week because you're going to play a defense that's probably better than any defense in the SEC next week. I mean, you're going to play a Michigan defensive line that is as good. I don't think as good, but up there with ours, and a defense that's up there with ours. They're very, very good. Their offense, we'll see what a true freshman quarterback can do on the road in his first road start. But their defense is, I mean, don't make no mistake, they are as good as any team we're going to face this year. Unless you maybe get to Clemson, but right now it looks like LSU is about to score again on Clemson, or at least got the ball back. So,
you say Clemson got it back?
LSU did. It's
LSU's
3rd and 12.
LSU, okay. 17-10.
LSU's up 17-10. It looks like it's 4th and 5 now on the Clemson 40.
5. They're about to turn it back over then, huh?
Hopefully.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm torn. Yeah, I chose LSU for picks. My dog chose Clemson.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I mean, I figured, I picked Clemson. I thought Clemson would win, but I'm hoping LSU wins for SEC's sake, because I want all of our opponents to be undefeated by the time we go play them, and then Oklahoma beat them.
Well, Alabama won't.
They won't be. Neither will Texas.
I still can't believe Alabama lost. Just talking about that,
they didn't lose. You got
beat by a team that has nothing but transfers this year.
Tony White changed that defense really fast. That defense is not the same defense as it was last year for Florida State. Tony White, he was a phenomenal. Again, I'm around Nebraska fans all the time, so I watch every Nebraska game with them. But you know, Tony White had Nebraska's defense. Like, Nebraska's defense was top tier last year.
Yeah.
Outside of like the Iowa game, for some weird reason, that's their kryptonite. Anyways, Tony White going down to Florida State did not make any sense to me, because you went down to a 2-10 team to try to do something down there, and that just irritated me. Like, what are you doing? But it's working. Yeah. It's working. Whatever he's doing down there. Anyways, yeah, Bama is not quite as good as what I was thinking they would be. Castor Troy Boy says, I don't think the back has everything to do with it. Sometimes if you have an average O-line, your running game is going to be average. And that was totally, yeah, that was totally the fact. With tonight, overall, the running game wasn't well, because pass blocking is the one that I'm telling you guys, don't worry. Pass blocking, I think the O-line looked just fine. Run blocking, I will agree with you guys. I might give run blocking like a D+. But overall, that's where I bump them up to like a C-C, somewhere in that range, just because I think pass blocking was fine.
Yeah.
And then even Clement says Texas, Alabama won't be undefeated when they play us. Florida State deserved to win today. Yeah. And Castellanos too, man. Like, he looked good. He was comfortable with Gus Malzahn's offense, and yeah, Hats off to Florida State, man. I hope they do make a comeback. Good for them.
We just got the warning my laptop's about to die, so we might have to drop off and just let you finish it out if you want.
I think we're all pretty much good. I mean, you guys have anything extra you wanted to add? I think we pretty much covered everything.
I just want to say again, we're going to be together Thursday, man. I'm excited to meet you in person.
Yeah, I'm excited to meet you guys in person. And then, of course, hoping to meet you guys as audience. So, guys, check us out.
Yes.
If you follow us on X, there's one over there. If you follow any three of us or Oklahoma at the Voice of College Football on X, just search for Oklahoma VOCFB, all one word, on X or YouTube. So if you're watching us on X, jump over to YouTube, search that, subscribe to the channel. Join us at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on Thursday, September 4th, this upcoming Thursday, to preview the Michigan game. And we're going to be at the Woodworks Distillery. It looks like we might have lost the Smiths. But, guys, make sure to join us. We're going to be live there in person. So please join us. We'd love to see you guys there. So come on out, meet us. Of course, grab a drink from the Woodworks Distillery as well. I'm very excited to meet the staff there. And it'll be my first time going to that brewery as well. And so excited to check it out. It looks like a beautiful venue. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We get to preview the game, talk with you guys. We're going to possibly have a way. I'm trying to think of a good way for us to do it, but offer for you guys to step up to the mic. At the very least, you can sit there and actually comment directly in person. We'll be able to hear you. You may not be able to hear you on the stream or not. Don't know if we're going to have that set up or not. But anyways, excited to see you guys there. So join us there. We're going to be there at the Woodworks Distillery in Oklahoma City, 7 p.m. on Thursday. So come check us out there to preview the Michigan game. Very excited for that. And then, of course, if you're not a member on this YouTube channel, if I can get my words to come out there right, make sure to become a member today as low as $2.99 a month. And you can join in tomorrow. I will try to have us a little bit of a film breakdown. We're going to have a Sunday film room on Sundays throughout the whole season, as long as I can find some good film to work with. And if you guys have specific plays that you want to have reviewed, hey, break something down here. If you have something specific, throw it out. I'm always welcome. I'm always open to seeing it. If I can see your comments, then I'll do it. Shoot me a DM, send it in the comments on YouTube, whatever the case is. But hope to see you guys on Thursday. Of course, we're also going to be live on Mondays is Sooner Smiths, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time here on the YouTube channel and on the X channels as well. And then Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on the YouTube channel, Oklahoma Sooners Live. And then Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, live from Woodworks Distillery in Oklahoma City. Very excited for that. But of course, guys, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Looking forward to the rest of the season. Hopefully we see more promising things than we saw tonight. I know we're kind of mixed feelings tonight. Not really high, not really low. But anyways, excited for the rest of the season. Excited to see you guys later on. But we'll catch you next time. Boomer.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.